Naruto sucks. There goes my views. But if you have the stomach to listen to what I have to say about the former Hokage, then stick around for the answer to why I think Naruto sucks. In this video, I won't be going through Naruto's entire skill list or listing them from greatest to worst. However, I am going to discuss his main jutsus like Resengan, Shadow Clone Jutsu, etc. and how they overstay their welcome and should be left in the past. Also, I am going to be comparing Naruto's development to some of his peers and superiors. This way, I can give you a more visual idea of how Naruto's unpolished techniques are still unpolished. Well, hopefully that wasn't too much to take in, and without any more procrastination, I'm your commentator Gumtree, and this is not a rant. Now, Naruto, the motivated, hot-headed superpower, is a symbol of pure drive and determination. He possesses the power none of his peers have and plays a huge role in the series. But when speaking about power, is it related to skill? For example, Rock Lee doesn't possess any ninjutsu. However, he has superb taijutsu that rivals even Sasuke's. Or the third Hokage, who possesses many styles of jutsu, but still was in shock to know that his former student has developed and mastered the forbidden jutsu. So basically, when you say power, is it the ability to produce vast amounts of chakra? Or is it just a light show that is displayed to blind you into thinking someone is skillful? Now, let me unpack what I mean a little bit more in detail. Like I said previously, I'll be listing Naruto's jutsus and their lack of growth and skill. So with that, let's take a look at Naruto's jutsus for a second and do a little analysis. So we got Shadow Clone Jutsu, Summoning Jutsu, Resengan, Sage Art, Mini Ultra, Big Ball, Spiraling Serial Spares. And lastly, Wind Release Rasen Shuriken. There are obviously more moves in Naruto's arsenal, but I figured I'll focus on the ones that Naruto seems to use the most in any given situation. Okay, let's talk about Shadow Clone Jutsu. I know this is Naruto's most diverse jutsu and one that has been around since the beginning. Yes, Naruto has shown he can increase his numbers every time he faces a new opponent, but why hasn't he shown any more consistent and creative way of using his shadow clones? Let me explain. Naruto has used his shadow clones as decoys, projectiles, and even impersonators of the male persuasion, if you get my drift. Well, that may be all kittens and rainbows for some of you guys, but not for me. How many clones do you need to wow us? I mean, if you've seen 10,000, you've seen 1,000,000. What is so great about conjuring up that many clones? True, Naruto has developed in some way or two a different way of using his clones, but those moves are derivative and boring. Don't worry, I'll explain why a little later in the video. Okay, let's take a look at the fight with Kakashi and Obito. As you guys remember, Kakashi uses shadow clones as well, but there was just something so stylish and coordinated, random and skillful about it. He only used one, but it was the way he used it that made it the impact. He didn't need to create 5 or even 10 to do it. I feel Shadow Clone Jutsu is now just a numbers game, and it's been used repetitively. You don't need so many to pull off some impressive and skillful techniques. Next up we have Summoning Jutsu, and I really like this one. Summoning Jutsu has to be one of Naruto's strongest attacks, if you count out the other factors. Taught to him by his master and one of my favorite characters from the series, Jiraiya. Once Naruto learned this move, I figured it would have been a new line of jutsu that he would cultivate and showcase throughout the series at any given moment. But, yeah. I really and honestly feel this jutsu is criminally underrated and neglected. The way Jiraiya would call the toads to aid him in the battle was just amazing. He never summoned the same toads every time, and each one came with his or her own set of unique fighting styles and jutsus. Yes, Naruto summoned Gababunta, but that was a one-time thing. Jiraiya shows some pretty powerful attacks with each toad he summoned. Naruto has neglected to perform the wind release toad gun more than once. Naruto seems to pull out the toads only when he's facing a bigger opponent. This makes summoning jutsu look more like a prop rather than a powerful jutsu that it is. Jiraiya is slowly turning over in his grave on this one. Now this is a move that also describes Naruto and was a bit of a struggle for him to learn. But hey, Naruto is a fighter and determined to fight against impossible odds. Charging headfirst with the ball in his hand, I give you the Resengan. The Resengan is a finishing move in Naruto's arsenal and taught by Jiraiya. This jutsu has been seen countless amounts of times in the series and in many movies, with compressed chakra into a spiral spear that is focused onto an opponent's torso. Ouch! This is a really great jutsu, or should I say it was a great jutsu until the flaw was revealed. Naruto isn't as good in hand-to-hand combat as some of his peers and or superiors, so pulling this jutsu off would be based on luck. The Resengan acts as a pinpoint attack, and with proper timing and skill, one can make it land perfectly. Naruto's first use of the Resengan led to an impaled hand in order to make it land. True, Naruto has improved significantly with the approach using the Resengan, but he still charges headfirst into his opponent. When I think of the Resengan, I immediately think of Minato and the Flying Thunder God. With how strategic Minato is, you can see the difference in skill, development, and overall uniqueness that separates Naruto from a more skilled shinobi. The Resengan used to be a powerful attack and had the potential to still be great. Unfortunately, the spamming and the redundancy with this jutsu has made it stale for me. I'm aware he has other abilities that show the development of the jutsu, and I'll get to them in just a second. Sage Art Mini Ultra Big Ball Spiraling Serial Spears, or Master Resengan Barrage, is an upgrade to Naruto's ninjutsu. I mean, all you need is a little bit more chakra output thanks to Jiraiya's teachings, and you have yourself a big bang. This jutsu is a really powerful one and requires Naruto to summon a clone to assist him. I would consider this jutsu a combination of his shadow clones and Resengans. As I said previously, Naruto has found some new ways to improve his approach with this shadow clones, and this jutsu is the testament. However, in my humble opinion, this jutsu sucks in strategy and originality. True, Naruto has found a way to combine his jutsu to make new attacks, but this time, how many Resengans do you need to wow us? Yes, the jutsu is effective and has the ability to do massive damage, but it leaves him wide open for an attack, which might not work in his favor if the opponent is skilled at close combat. With someone like Sasuke or even Itachi, an open attack like this will not work. Even Neji would be able to elude this technique, making it just a bunch of flashing lights. This brings me to this. Is power measured up by how many clones, Resengans, or chakra you have? Or is it about how you use it and when you use it? Before we get into the final jutsu on the list, let's talk a little bit about Naruto's modes. Naruto has many modes, and with each mode gives him subtle and unique abilities. Although the modes are unique, they all share similar qualities and aren't really impressive as they can be. Sage mode, for instance, has the best skills as far as effectiveness and strategy. Enhancing Naruto's strength and fighting style, he's a pretty lethal opponent. However, it seems as the series progressed, Sage mode took a different turn. And with the different turn, it served a different purpose. What was once a mode that equipped Naruto with some impressive skills became a catalyst for another jutsu on the list. This kinda took the unique quality out of the mode, ultimately making it more of a prop rather than a skill that could be invested and improved. Kyuubi Chakra mode is one of the more current modes Naruto's learned and is very impressive. With this mode, Naruto's speed is improved and he can utilize his abilities more efficiently. This mode downs him in a Nine-Tailed Fox chakra and he's literally glowing. The thing with this mode is that it's not used in a unique way that it could be. Naruto uses every jutsu he uses in this form, including Shadow Clone Jutsu and Resengans. True, he uses the summoned hands to do certain attacks, but whether it's Naruto or the hands, he's still doing a Resengan. When Minato showed that he too can enter the chakra mode, I felt that was the ideal badass moment. Minato was already skilled and very diverse as is, but to pull out the same technique as your child has to be the ultimate dad moment. Naruto's modes are impressive and flashy that demonstrate enormous amounts of power, but they are just different forms he uses to perform the same moves already in his arsenal. Just think about it, without adding the other skills that comes with the modes like the senses. If he is in normal form and he does a Resengan, isn't it just as a Resengan? So, if he's in one of his modes and does a Resengan regardless of the size and or color, doesn't that still make it just a Resengan? Now, back to our regular scheduled program. Let's talk when release Rasen Shuriken. Back when Naruto was in the process of learning his chakra nature and was trying to cultivate a new jutsu he can use to face the Akatsuki, the Rasen Shuriken was born. This jutsu was flawed in the beginning, but by combining with Sage mode, he can throw it like a projectile. With the combination of Resengan and Wind Chakra nature, you would expect the Jutsu to be manipulated in some way, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. Wind Release Rasen Shuriken is a very powerful technique and a technique Naruto uses a lot. I feel this move is lacking something that the name suggests. As shown during the Great Ninja War, Naruto throws the Rasen Shuriken at Madara and it was absorbed. Yes, Madara was enhanced, but Naruto was also assisted by Onoki. Question is, would it have landed if it wasn't assisted by Onoki? Just like the Resengan, the Rasen Shuriken is a pinpoint attack that will only land if the opponent is still or immobile. The Rasen Shuriken is immense power, but it seems to be a one-shot technique. Why isn't Naruto able to guide it with his wind-style chakra nature? There are other wind chakra nature users like Ashura and Orochimaru that could have aided him in his training. To me, it's like the Rasen Shuriken is flawed and continues to be that way. Even juiced up from his modes, Naruto still delivers the Rasen Shuriken in the same manner. Whether it's red, green, white, or blue, I believe once the technique is performed the same as another, it's not really unique anymore, or special. Now, I hope as the video went on I was able to shed a little light on why I feel Naruto sucks. Compared to some of his peers and superiors, it seems Naruto's in some way a one-trick pony. Yes, he has many forms that boost his skills and abilities, but are we to be blinded by the lack of jutsu he has? Naruto started in the late 90s, and almost every technique Naruto used then, he uses now. I get it, if it ain't broke, don't fiddle with it. But he's the Hokage now, and supposed to be the image of skill and power. Power? Yes, he has plenty of it. But he also gets beat up a lot by his opponents, which could be different in his current position. Sasuke, for instance, has made such a tremendous change in his jutsu and overall style of fighting. True, almost none of Sasuke's ocular jutsus are his own. However, he was able to cultivate many forms and styles of his jutsu, making them more creative. Even Rock Lee, who has no jutsu to save his life, developed a fighting style that not even his superior has. And Sakura, what I'm trying to say is that there is time for a change in the development process. And of course, we have seen many times when Naruto was training to perfect the jutsu. However, fast forward to adulthood and we are still pulling the same tricks. No matter how much power you have or mode you transform into, if there isn't anything strategic about your technique, you're just raw power. Hey, thank you so much for sticking around for the video. I really like making commentary and sharing my opinion on some popular anime shows. And if that's your thing as well, why not drop a like and comment to tell me anything I may have missed. I'm your host, Gumchu, and this is not a rant.